So I got a pretty intriguing video today, and something that I get asked a lot, and that's what if Saitama never removed his limiter, and basically how strong would he have been? Like, who could he have beaten, all that stuff. So this is like one of two videos that I'm going to make on this subject. This one I'm just trying to talk about basically how powerful he probably would have been. And then in the second video, I'll just talk about like how the story would have played out with like his relationships and the battles and all of that stuff. But for now, let's get into it. But first, let me just talk about the sponsor of this video, and that is the web manga Immortal Blood. So this is a series about a young swordsman who travels the world with his friends, participating in a traveling tournament known as the Gladius. As they seek out challenges and adventure, new threats arise as the world's treasures are sought by evil forces. So the group must find out the secrets of the Immortal Blood if they are to reach their goals. Guys, this is a great series. I'm really impressed by it. I read the first 2 chapters, and I can't say enough kind things about it. If you like bread and butter battle manga like Naruto, Bleach, and One Punch Man, I think you're really going to like this series. So please give it a read. I'll have the link in the description. So in this scenario, Saitama is still going to encounter Crablante and still be inspired to train as a result of that. But we're just going to be taking a look at what if he got to the point of where he would be removing his limiter, but he doesn't. So we're just going to assume that Saitama is going to train just as hard, but he's essentially going to get to the point of where he feels content with his level of strength. So we're just going to have to suspend our disbelief a little bit just to answer this hypothetical what-if question. But in the end, Saitama doesn't know what the limiter is anyway, and it's not like he was even chasing a state of removal from it in the first place. But first, let's just explain what the limiter is real quick. So Dr. Genus says that every living being has an intrinsic limit to its growth because too much power becomes unbearable and overwhelms the person and would basically turn it into like a mindless rampaging monster, and in some cases maybe even kill the person. So the mechanism for that is called the limiter. You basically have a level cap on how powerful you can become within the One Punch Man world. So we're just going to try to figure out how powerful an individual, or in this case Saitama, would be when he is approaching that point of breaking the level cap, but not exactly breaking it or removing it in his case. So we're just going to have to establish, like, I guess what the level cap is. And I don't think there's really like a definitive answer for that. Just like there isn't a definitive answer to say how strong Saitama was before he removed his limiter, but I think it might be like on an individual basis possibly. So Saitama says that after about a year and a half of training, he had noticed 2 changes about himself. First, he had lost all of his hair and he had become strong. So we can assume that it's at this point that he removed his limiter, meaning that his hair falling out is signifying that. So it's about a year and a half, and there's not an exact date right there, and I'm pretty sure one probably wanted to leave it open-ended. So we're just going to have to backtrack from there. So we'll go 300 days into his training, which is, I don't know, about like 8 or 9 months before he removed his limiter. So at this point, Saitama is fast enough to save a child who looks like a younger Tario, I guess, from an oncoming car. And it's at that point that he says that he's able to move in a way that he imagined superheroes would. So I guess that means that Saitama is now at the point of superhuman physical prowess, at least within the world of One Punch Man. Meaning that, I don't know, he's probably around high B class, low A class at this point, possibly. Because he's, pretty fast, pretty strong, but he's not strong enough to take down a tiger level monster by himself, because the personification of the light pull cord just wrecks him completely. But it's at this point that we also see like where his durability's at, because he puts a pretty good beating on him and like blasts him through that truck, and he's not exactly destroyed by it. But it's after that when he gets punched again, which seems to be like a pretty powerful punch. And it's at this point that things start to get kind of ambiguous. And I also think that one probably left this up for interpretation as well, because he does a lot of like showing and not so much telling. So he probably just wants you to really decide what's going on here. But what I'm thinking is happening here is that it's very possible that this might be the first Zenkai boost or revival from death power boost that Saitama has received during his training. Because it seems like he's pushing through a wall at this point, which is what Psycho says is one of the necessary elements of becoming super powerful. So it appears that like before removing your limiter, there's like these little walls that you have to overcome in order to go to the next level. Because before this sequence where he is fighting the light cord, he says that he feels that he's at his limit and that like he can barely push on anymore. So after he's destroyed by the light cord, he falls down, and I don't know, like I said, it's ambiguous. This could be Saitama approaching death at this point. But then afterwards, he gets up and he kind of has like a different expression on his face. He has like that nonchalant, like non-expression to him that we know Saitama, has from time to time currently. But now he seems to feel all better. I mean, he even says it himself. And then he's extraordinarily more powerful, so strong that he can now one-shot the light cord, as before he was getting wrecked by him. And this is all kind of indicative of what like a revival from death power boost would be like, at least from what we've seen so far. Now, maybe it's not as extreme as the one that Garo received when he encountered Royal Ripper, but it seems to be, in the same kind of ballpark as that. So it's possible that this might be the point that Saitama reached demon level, considering that he's strong enough now to just one-shot the light cord. Debatable, but we're just going to go further after this. So now we're going to before he removed his limiter, which is still before about a year and a half, but it's after the 300-day mark. So we're coming to the bonus chapter, Recollection of Summer, which indicates that this is taking place in the summer. So does that mean that when he fought the light cord, that was the winter, and now this is the following summer? Possibly. It's never really outright said the exact timeline of what's going on here, but we can assume that this is the closest to removing his limiter that we have ever seen Saitama in the series. Like, this is pretty much the strongest he has ever been before he's become bald. So Saitama is so powerful at this point that he's, I guess, easily able to destroy the wall of the Hero Association shelter, which is said to be so powerful that it can withstand extremely high temperatures and absorb any kinds of attacks, whether it be like a tank or a missile. Nothing can really put a scratch on it, and he just blows a hole through the wall. And it doesn't really seem like he's putting too much effort into it, because he's like holding in his pee at the same time, and it's kind of just an annoyance to him. So that's already S-class level strength right there. But then he further shows how powerful he is, because he runs into the Magic Cicada Nymph, who is classified as a demon and is pretty evidently shown to be one, and he easily one-shots it. Like, it's not even like a problem to him. It's more so in his way to going to the bathroom. And the punch that he delivers to this thing is honestly reminiscent to the punch that he gives to Deep Sea King, who is also another demon. So I guess at this point, Saitama is, definitively as strong as an S-class hero. You can even argue that he's maybe even one of the stronger S-class heroes. But the way that he's easily taken care of, I guess, a formidable demon in the Magic Cicada Nymph, it's very possible that Saitama is definitely dragon level at this point. So as I said, it's difficult to say like how much longer after this point does Saitama remove his limiter. It's not too much time. Like, he's very close to it. So we're just going to have to assume that, I guess, he gets stronger. Just, not like grossly more powerful, but he definitely becomes stronger than this. And we're just going to have to go to Garo at this point to really figure out, what he could have been like, because Garo, we know for sure, is at the point of breaking his limiter as of the end of chapter 127, and we can try to figure out how powerful he is at that point and try to relate it to Saitama. So obviously he's strong enough to be able to beast Darkshine, and Darkshine is like, high dragon capable of defeating Carnage Mode Carnage Kabuto, but he's not able to really take down Garo at this point. So now, taking that in consideration with everything else that we've talked about, and just guessing, of course, but if Saitama became as strong as he could have without removing his limiter, it's possible that he would have been whatever is considered stronger than Carnage Kabuto, or just as strong as Garo in chapter 127, meaning that he would be one of the strongest S-class heroes if he were to join the Hero Association. stronger than Darkshine, but maybe below Tatsumaki and definitely below Blast. So that's pretty much it for the video for now. Like I said, I'll eventually make a follow-up to this to see how the story would have played out and all that good stuff. But let me know, how strong do you think he would have been? Am I overestimating, underestimating? Let me know. But if you like the video, please give it a like. I also have a Patreon, gives you access to a weekly Q&A. And if you haven't already, please subscribe as well. Have a great day. I'll see you in the next one.